Let me put you guys on to some shit.
Don't even know. Shit's about to get bad.
Hectic.
You know what I'm saying? Living trite.
No laws.
You know what I'm saying? Niggas gonna have to clean your third
I
eye
have to see this shit.
Uncivilized.
Authentic, real uncut. It's my shit. Goes on. Sex. Seasons.
Merchandise, robbing springs. Mascot identity. Poverty. Idle flip, no cancer stick. Influenced by lick. Towards that program, my man hit. After 2 weeks, he quit.
Temptation took a nick quick. Alright, so listen. Let me talk to you about this record, right? Remember when I told you guys that, like, Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole weren't even, like, top 1,000? There's rappers you've never heard of that rap better than Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole. Alright? Like, you know what I mean? Black Eye is one of them. Black Eye is a rapper from Toronto. From what I understand, he was a backup dancer. Not a backup dancer. I think he was actually, like, Michie Me's main dancer. Michie Me is one of the pioneering rappers in Toronto. I'll do a video about Toronto rap at some point. So from what I understand, he was actually her dancer. And then he went off and rapped. Remember, I always tell you, right? Like, if you don't have a sense of rhythm, you can't rap, right? Like, why would you even bother to rap, right? Rap is very rhythm heavy. So he, I guess, of course, like all things, back then, people really practiced all the elements. That's why you had very good rappers, because a lot of them danced, right? They break dance. I've showed you the video, or at least talked about Jadakiss, you know, doing the windmill, right? I think that's what it's called, or whatever. So, like, these lyricists, a lot of these guys, these are not lames. These are not cornballs, right? Like, these are people with personality, with charisma, and they're artists at heart, right? They did graffiti. Busta Rhymes did graffiti. They are dancers. They can dance, right? They can rock a crowd, right? Then they rapped, and they just happened to make it as a rapper, right? But they were able to do a bunch of things. They really engaged with all the elements of hip-hop, and that's why they're so fucking dope. Whereas now, the guys who rap now, a lot of them are cornballs who don't have an ounce of charisma or any kind of creative, real sort of passion for this shit. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, they appeal to the casuals, and that's fine. You know, but people who really like hip-hop are never going to rock with them and don't give a fuck about them. So anyway, that was just a little track I wanted to sort of play. The thing I wanted to talk about today is, when is something too dark, right? So, you know how I always say that hip-hop is about, you know, aggression and sort of that dark vibe and mystical, and all that is very true. And it will always, I think, in my opinion, sort of remain true. But I do think there is something that can be too dark, right? And a perfect example of this is a really funny reaction that King Guap, I'm sure you're all familiar with the King Guap, who has these YouTube reviews and reactions, right? So he was reacting to a Beanie Sigel song, and I thought his reaction was really interesting and actually very much on the money, right? This is the thing about Guap. I don't know if he's pretending to, you know, not know these songs or know these rappers, whatever. That's whatever. But he has good instincts, right? Like, he's a young kid. You know, he's not really that versed in hip-hop, doesn't know what's going on like that. But, again, he's a young black kid, and, like, he's black, so, you know what I mean? And he has a sense of rhythm, so he can just tell what's dope and what's not. And, like, over a period of time, a lot of these songs are, what, 10, 20, 30 years old. It becomes really obvious what's dope and what's not dope. So someone paid him to react to a Beanie Sigel record. What's your life like? And, you know, Beanie Siegel's like, rapping and all that shit. And Guap's just like, nah. Basically, now it's like, I wouldn't bump this, right? It's like, I don't know nothing about jail. I don't want to know nothing about jail. And that is facts. Here's the problem with that Beanie Sigel record, right? Beanie is a little too dark on it. Like, at the end of the day, hip-hop is supposed to be dark and sort of interesting. But it, you know, there's something about it that should still sort of be a little light, or at least sort of move the spirit and not be so dark. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, it should get me moving, right? It should make me, like, hit me, you know, in a way, and make me get that spirit and that energy, right? Like, again, look at how he reacted to Blackout, the DMX record. That's a dark record, right? DMX makes dark music, but it's funky, though. Do you know what I mean? And even the way that DMX and Jade and all these guys deliver on it, yeah, they're talking about some dark shit, but there is that, like, finesse right? There's a fun aspect to what they're doing, right? And that's an equally important part of hip hop, right? So when you mix those two things together, you create great hip hop. The problem with the way Beanie Sigel was rapping on the shit is that Beanie Sigel isn't really delivering that song with fun to a certain degree. It's very, very dark, right? It's like, you don't know about jail and being stuck and, you know, dudes want to fuck you and all this stuff. It's like, nah, fall back. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not even so much that, if you were saying that shit with a little bit of like a better energy, like a more of a welcoming energy, slightly, right? That track would be doper because the beat is dope. It's a dope beat, right? It's definitely a powerful instrumental, but the way he's just coming at it, it makes it seem like he's actually glorifying jail, which is weird. So you're just listening to a jailbird talk about, yo, I really, you know, I could really listen that. I live that life. I'm about it. You know what I'm saying? You don't know nothing about it. I'm stuck in here, nigga. I can do life. You know what I'm saying? I can fuck my hand. You know, it's just like, okay, all right, chill. You know what I'm saying? And that's funny because that's actually something that Nas, I remember Nas, I don't know if it was in a track or if it was in a radio interview, where he was just like, yo, Beanie Sigel just needs like a hug or some shit. And he just killed him. I mean, not like really simple, right? Because again, Nas is a smart cat, right? And he was just like, you know, he sounded like he just needed a hug and a stern handshake or some shit. But it's facts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're that aggressive and you're that gangster, why are you even rapping? Just go out there and, you know, do dirt. That's the point. That's what some people fail to, you know, to realize about this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, this is music. Like, the music is supposed to do something for me. It's supposed to make me listen. I'm supposed to be entertained or moved by it and, you know, and feel something for it, right? So that's why your tales about how gangster you are don't even fucking matter. Because at the end of the day, if you're really that gangster, why are you rapping? You know what I'm saying? Gangsters don't rap. The dudes that's really in the streets like that, they're not out here, you know what I'm saying, spending their days trying to figure out how to rap on instrumentals. Come on, man. Come on. Like, that's basic common sense. You know what I'm saying? The dudes is really in the field, the El Chapos of the world and shit like that. You think them niggas is really sitting there in their basement being like, okay, a 1-2, 1-2, you know, I kick rocks, blah, blah. Nah. You know what I'm saying? They're out there killing people, doing whatever it is that they got to do. So that's why it's hard for me to buy this whole, like, I'm a super, super gangster rapper. It's just not believable, right? And I think that Beanie Sigel and some of these other rappers, they push it a little too far, right? Like, you know, hip-hop is interesting when you tell your story and whatever your story is. You know, now, like, for example, a Fat Joe, where you can rhyme about, I used to do this, but now I'm somewhere else. That's cool. But again, that idea of, like, I used to do this means that you're reflecting back on it. You're not going to be as, like, about the shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear that. I just want to hear a good story, all right? So that's my whole thing, man. I thought it was really funny and really interesting. So, anyway, I'm going to talk to y'all later. It's a pleasure. Always stay hating in the comments for those of y'all who hate. You know what I mean? Do what you do. You know what I mean? Peace.